All right, so with the deadline approaching, it wasn't a matter of if, but where Jimmy Butler would go, and it is Golden State.
Jimmy Butler joined the lineup, but it's been a success to start here.
The Miami Heat are finalizing a deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors.
The Jimmy Butler trade has shocked the NBA, leaving fans and analysts scrambling to make sense of it. Golden State just went all in, betting on Butler to push Steph Curry toward another title. But at what cost? His fiery leadership has clashed with teams before, and the Warriors' locker room is no stranger to tension. Will this move ignite a championship run or implode long before launch? Rarely do deals happen so fast and with so few leaks. Yet here we are, witnessing Golden State move multiple role players and a protected first-round pick to acquire Jimmy Butler, a perennial playoff performer. For the Miami Heat, this blindsided the NBA world. Butler was once considered untouchable after his finals runs, gritty leadership, and unwavering ties to Heat culture. Suddenly, he's gone. Observers assumed the Heat would at least shop offers more openly, but reliable insiders say the front office quietly spoke with only a handful of teams. Golden State emerged as the best fit, offering Andrew Wiggins, initially crucial to their 2022 title, plus depth pieces. The magnitude of the exchange isn't about the quantity of picks, it's about the Warriors doubling down on Steph Curry's title window. Fans erupted on social media. Some posted, "No way we lost Wiggins. What about that 2022 run?" Others are overjoyed to see a proven All-NBA presence. On talk shows, big personalities argue that Butler's prime is ticking away, while supporters counter that his playoff resume speaks for itself. Miami supporters, meanwhile, reel at seeing their cornerstone stripped away. When a star changes teams, standard headlines revolve around legacy, cap space, or locker room fit. Here the shock resonates because Butler was the face of a tough-minded franchise that prided itself on discipline. In exchange, Miami goes for potential cap relief and younger depth, potentially setting eyes on a new star in free agency down the road. One twist is the quick extension Butler signed in Golden State, a 2-year, 9-figure commitment that suggests he's all in for a final championship push with Curry. This dramatically contrasts early rumors that he'd avoid re-signing. Whether he truly embraces Warrior culture, or if Golden State regrets gambling on a mercurial star, remains up for debate. The Warriors are nearing the end of an era defined by Steph Curry's brilliance, Draymond Green's defensive genius, and a rotating cast of complementary players. Age, injuries, and inconsistent supporting pieces forced the front office to consider big moves. Andrew Wiggins was integral to a championship run, but this season he's looked inconsistent, while the team's offensive rating plummets whenever Curry sits. With the window closing, Golden State's executives realize that adding another top-tier option might be their only shot to maximize Curry's final prime years. Jimmy Butler's greatest value lies in big moments, key playoff series, tight fourth quarters, where he's proven he can carry an offense for stretches. He's also capable of wrecking opponents' scoring plans when fully locked in, giving up Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Dennis Schroeder, and a protected first stings. Wiggins in particular was a high-level wing defender and decent scorer, but in Butler, the Warriors see an upgraded version of those intangibles, plus the capacity to lead when Steph rests. Butler's versatility might offset the roster's flaws, giving them a secondary shot creator and a powerful defensive presence. The obvious risk? Butler's 35, banged up at times and not always the easiest personality in a locker room. The phrase locker room issues hovers around him, from the fiery moments in Minnesota and Philadelphia to his parting shot with Miami. Golden State's culture prides itself on unselfish play and easygoing vibes, so outsiders wonder if a headstrong star could disrupt that harmony. Still, Draymond Green's strong personality doesn't shy away from confrontation either. The Warriors have navigated big egos before, including Kevin Durant. Perhaps Steve Kerr's system and Curry's leadership can keep Butler engaged. The front office doesn't appear worried about the short term. They'll live with the drama if it leads to a championship. Jimmy Butler was more than a star in Miami. He was their identity. He adopted Heat culture, excessive workouts, grit, no-nonsense discipline, and led them to multiple finals appearances, shocking bigger-name teams. So why would the Heat ship off their franchise player? Rumors point to growing tension over Butler's next contract. Sources close to the team say negotiations turned sour when Butler demanded a long-term max extension. Miami's front office, eyeing his age and frequent rest days, balked. The relationship frayed, culminating in this sudden divorce. Andrew Wiggins becomes the primary piece heading to South Beach, a versatile wing fresh off a championship run. The Heat also receive a first-round first-round pick and role players who fit their tough-minded style. Front office executives likely see Wiggins as a younger building block, hoping he can thrive under Eric Spoelstra's coaching. Additionally, the Heat clear future cap space for the loaded 2026 free agent class, rumored to include names like Luka Doncic or Brandon Ingram. Miami fans feel blindsided. Butler represented an underdog spirit, thriving on hard work. Some see this as a betrayal of that ethos, an ownership more interested in future flexibility than continuing to fight for rings now. Others note the team's inconsistency, claiming a retool around Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro was overdue. Even as the Heat pivot, they do so with reservations. They're betting Wiggins can regain star form, and that the upcoming free agency cycles yield a new superstar. After all, they've lured big names before, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, so luring another might be feasible. But in losing Butler, they surrendered a proven, fierce competitor who resonated with the city's blue-collar identity. Jimmy Butler's journey through the NBA reveals a complex figure, a late first-round pick who steadily rose to stardom. He's proven critics wrong at every stop, yet few players have jumped between 5 teams with such drama each time. He departed Chicago following a clash over leadership, left Minnesota amid that infamous practice outburst, and parted ways with Philadelphia after rumored friction. Miami finally gave him the reins. Until now. In each scenario, Butler thrived once he felt valued and financially secure. The Bulls initially underpaid him. The Timberwolves refused a massive payday. The Sixers chose Tobias Harris over him. After landing in Miami on a generous deal, his on-court performance soared, culminating in 2 finals appearances. His story suggests that if the Warriors show genuine commitment, a stable role, an extension, he can deliver a playoff performance well beyond regular season numbers. However, the cost is high. He demands accountability from teammates, coaches, and staff alike. Younger players might wilt under his fierce competitiveness. He demands the same unwavering intensity he brings, and those unprepared for it often clash with him. The result can be an explosion in film sessions or bench arguments that spill onto social media. On the other hand, his advocates see him as exactly the kind of competitor who elevates rosters in big games. The playoff Jimmy moniker persists for a reason. He's known to reach new heights when a season is on the line. He can go from coasting at 18 points per game to a 35-point outburst when everything matters. Now, adding the test of Golden State's culture, some say Butler might find his best fit yet. Steph Curry's unselfish leadership could mesh with his intensity, while Draymond Green's boldness might complement him instead of causing friction. Or the unstoppable force may clash with the immovable synergy that's made the Warriors a dynasty. Butler's story remains one of the league's most complex tapestries, and this new chapter could be his most defining. So how does Jimmy Butler slot into a system known for motion offense, quick passes, and shooting from everywhere? Conventional wisdom says that star-heavy teams can make it work, especially given Butler's skill set. Unlike a purely isolation-based scorer, he can play without the ball. He's adept at cutting, finishing, or acting as a secondary playmaker. That syncs up well with the Warriors' brand of free-flowing basketball. Yet the Warriors do risk spacing concerns. Aside from Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, if Klay remains, Butler isn't a knockdown shooter. Draymond Green is also not a deep threat, meaning potential overcrowding inside. Head coach Steve Kerr will need to orchestrate lineups carefully, ensuring at least 3 perimeter threats on the floor. On the plus side, Butler's presence could relieve Curry, who has carried too much of the offensive load. In late game moments, when defenses trap Curry relentlessly, having Butler attack mismatches gives Golden State another route to victory. His mid-range arsenal contrasts the Warriors' typical preference for layups or threes, possibly complicating opposing defenses. Then there's defense. Butler, Draymond, and possibly Jonathan Kuminga or Gary Payton, too, form an intimidating front. Switchability could be a hallmark again, reminiscent of the death lineup era, though older and less nimble overall. Even if his raw athleticism has dipped, Butler's anticipation and mental game remain top tier. Off the bench, roles might shift. Young players like Moses Moody must adjust to fewer touches. The second unit might see Butler anchoring the offense whenever Steph sits, an arrangement that kills the "we can't score without Curry" narrative. If bench players embrace shorter minutes and adapt, the Warriors may find another gear. The The West was already wild, with Denver, Oklahoma City, and Dallas jockeying atop the standings. Now, the Warriors re-enter the fray with a fresh all-star piece. Rival teams must redraw scouting reports. Is Golden State genuinely a threat to dethrone the defending champs? Or does the presence of a big ego plus an aging core weaken them against hungry, youthful rosters? Some franchises might immediately respond with moves of their own. Phoenix, still uncertain about Bradley Beal's fit, could explore additional trades. The LA Clippers, teetering around .500, might push for a last-minute star. Utah and Sacramento might see a window to pounce on disillusioned stars from other teams as the West becomes an arms race again. For the Nuggets, the big question is whether they have enough to withstand a star-laden Warriors squad. They've historically beaten Golden State by controlling the tempo and punishing them inside. Butler won't fix the Warriors' potential lack of size, but his toughness can mask some weaknesses. A hypothetical Denver-Golden State series just got far more intriguing. Meanwhile, the Thunder and Mavs watch from afar, each recovering from seismic trades themselves. If Golden State's move flounders, they remain outside the top seeds. But if it soars, they match up well against any star-laden opponent, especially come playoff time when half-court execution and star power carry extra weight. Media coverage amplifies the story. ESPN, TNT, and social platforms shine spotlights on every Butler meltdown or highlight. Western showdowns, Warriors versus Lakers, Warriors versus Suns, Warriors versus Mavs will be must-see TV. People crave friction and drama, and no one stirs the pot like Jimmy. No trade is flawless, and the Warriors management understands the serious risks. Top of the list, Butler's mileage. At 35, his track record of missing games, especially amid a regular season, raises eyebrows. The playoffs have often seen him hobbling on one leg, yet somehow finding a second wind. But those heroic runs can't always be repeated. Another hazard is locker room harmony. Golden State prides itself on a smooth, almost family-like atmosphere. Draymond Green's outbursts are accepted because he's our guy. Will they welcome Butler's sharp tongue and demands with equal patience? If conflict escalates, it may splinter a team that's accustomed to cohesive synergy. Then there's the short timeline. Steph Curry, Draymond, and now Butler are all on the back half of their primes. If the Warriors don't mesh quickly, they risk losing precious months or years. The franchise is betting big on a near-term championship. Beyond that, the next generation, Kuminga, Moody, and potentially others, could face stunted growth overshadowed by stars who demand touches and minutes. Financially, the Warriors remain in luxury tax territory, paying a premium for star talent. Should the gamble fail, they might be forced into a rebuild soon, minus key future picks. Critics recall how the team handled Kevin Durant, eventually losing him for minimal return. A similar meltdown could end the dynasty abruptly. Still, the reward is enormous. Another banner cements Curry's legacy among the all-time greats and hushes those claiming his run ended after 2022. Butler could resurrect his reputation as a champion, proving doubters wrong. A synergy might form, combining Curry's outside brilliance, Draymond's leadership, and Butler's relentless approach. Such a trio, if healthy, can compete with any heavyweight. Imagine the best-case outcome. Butler stays healthy and engaged, instantly lifting Golden State's two-way performance. Curry finds relief from double teams. Draymond orchestrates cunning defensive schemes, and the younger guys feed off the star synergy. The Warriors breeze through the final weeks, climb the standings, and morph into a nightmare postseason draw. Playoff Butler re-emerges, dropping clutch 30-point games. Another Larry O'Brien trophy cements the Warriors' place in modern history. But the bust scenario isn't hard to conjure. Butler might clash with Draymond or question Steve Kerr's rotations. Minor issues escalate into big headlines. Perhaps the Warriors can't fix depth problems, and Butler shoulders too much. An old lineup burns out by spring, leading to an early playoff exit. Then the front office scrambles, stuck with an aging star's contract and an awkward roster built around Curry. Many variables lie in between. Maybe Butler carves out an all-star campaign, but the team lacks size or outside shooting. Perhaps Draymond's offense fades, or Klay Thompson has injury setbacks. There's no shortage of unknowns. Yet Golden State's track record of smoothing over differences, from Kevin Durant's arrival to midseason controversies, suggests they could integrate Butler better than most teams would. This trade also adds another pivot point for the league. If the Warriors' boldness pays off, we might see other borderline contenders mirror the approach. If a stumbling team sees the Warriors' success, they might chase superstar deals next. Alternatively, if this fails spectacularly, front offices could be spooked from making mid-season blockbusters for aging stars. Jimmy Butler's sudden arrival in Golden State marks yet another monumental twist in the NBA landscape. Critics question his age, health, and locker room fit, but the Warriors believe his playoff heroics are worth the risk, especially next to Steph Curry's final prime years. Whether this gamble sparks a new title run or unravels into drama, it underscores how quickly fortunes can shift. We've seen the Warriors thrive on bold moves before, so the question is whether they're about to repeat history or hit a wall. Thanks for watching, and remember to support the channel by purchasing your favorite GA in our Hoop Hype store. Don't forget to catch our next video, shown on screen.